Hey, listen, when you gonna let me do that matrix dance? I
Do
like
what?
to do the matrix dance. I like the introduction. I want to do that.
But you saw the part at the end where I hurt my hip and I had to drag myself off the floor. Is that what you're going
No,
for?
no, I could step in and do the whole thing for you.
Go ahead. Do it right now. Let's see. All right. So the reason why I wanted you to come on is we worked together when you was a station commander for the Army recruiting and I was a secretary. One of the things, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, but you actually taught me how to be quick on my feet. When you come into a room, people have to be on top of everything. You know what's going on. You're aware of the surroundings. You know what's supposed to be happening. So there's nothing that really slips past you. And so I really kind of learned that early. I have to be really on top of my game when dealing with you. And not just me, anybody. And so I learned how to think quick, respond quickly, because you was a master at that. And not only that, when you were around people, there was just a level of respect that naturally happened. People respect you. And I don't know if that was something that you was born with, or is that something that you kind of learned over time, being with the Army or growing up. But I do want to talk about all of that. And another thing I noticed is wherever you go, you have someone that you can always call and say, hey, can you help my friend out here? You have somebody that cares about you enough, trusts you enough, that you can call on them to help somebody that they don't even know. That's just a level of respect that you have that a lot of people don't have. And it's genuine. You was a station commander, came back to be a first sergeant, came back to be a sergeant major. That's just not something that just flows like that for everybody. But because you proved your leadership, it opened up so many more doors for you. As a station commander, your team was so phenomenal. So you know how we had these pictures on the wall of the heroes? So everybody that put people in the Army, they meet their quota, they get that picture on the wall. Your team was always up there. Y'all was always up there. When the first of the month comes, all the pictures go off the wall. You gotta start all over. Everybody zeros again. Whatever you did that previous month didn't mean nothing. But that shows your leadership, that your team, not just you, but your team was phenomenal. And the way that you balance being a station commander, you were almost kind of like a father, though, to some of them, because you were able to talk to them like a dad would talk to them, but they understood your loyalty to them. I've never seen someone so loyal to their team and their team so loyal to their station commander. Y'all were friends, but well balanced. It was really like a family unit. I wanted to be in the Army. I know there was an Air Force recruiting station, but I wasn't sending nobody to the Air Force. I'm like, yeah, go down to the Army. I wanted to be a part of that team because it was just a family unit. But when it was time to work, everybody worked. And then there was a level of kindness that you really expected from your people morally. You didn't want to have people on your team that was mean to their family when they got home, or that were bad people off duty. You didn't really like anybody that wasn't nice people, nice to their kids, nice to their family. All the way well balanced, well rounded, and just a good leader, good person, good mentor. So I'm going to open the floor up to you, and we're going to talk about some other things because you were going to Price is Right. You want a car?
Yep.
We'll get to that. All right, so kind of let's talk about your leadership, mentorship, how all of that came about and where you kind of think that you learned some of that stuff from.
First of all, thank you. You know, we used to talk a lot, but you never really expressed that to me, the impact that I had on your life. You know, that means a lot to me because that's one of the things that I strive for in my leadership. I've always said, you know, leadership is just the art of influencing people to get things done. However, that's easier said than done, but it's just some basic qualities that you must have. And what I used to always try to do is the first thing is build a relationship. See, most people like to lead by whatever rank they have on their shoulder, whatever rank they have on their chest. I don't want to lead that way because that rank tells you who I am. So I never have to walk in the room and tell you that I'm your boss, that I'm your leader. I want to build that relationship with you so I can be someone that you can trust, someone that you can depend on, and someone that you can come to and help with the problem, whether it be in the office or at home. Because in recruiting, we spend a lot of time together. We spend a lot of time together in the office than we did at home. So if we didn't trust each other or respect each other, it never would work. And I would just tell you, every morning I come in, the first thing I would do before I start my day doing anything, I would ask my recruiters, how are you doing? How's your family? What kind of family issues that you have? And that's what I want to talk about first, because if it was a family issue, guess what the first thing I would do? I would rather send them home for the day to take care of that family issue than have them in that office trying to do 50% of work.
I like that because you understood that if they're distracted by family life, they weren't going to do their best. They wasn't going to be making those numbers. They wasn't going to be productive. They wasn't going to even be giving the recruits the best that they could give them because they was distracted. So many leaders miss that because they're like, leave your problems at the door when you get here. And I do get that you do have to leave your problems at the door. But the fact that they knew that they was trying to leave their problems at the door, and you're like, no, let's bring those problems in and then let's go fix those problems and then come back when you're better. And maybe that's why when they came back, they was on level 10, while the rest of the recruiting stations was struggling on the 31st of every month. And y'all are chilling because y'all got y'all numbers early.
Yes. But it's just something as simple as that. And you're right. A lot of times leaders say, don't bring your problems to me. Leave what you got at home at the door. When you step in this office, you're here to work. I learned a long time ago, you're not going to really get the best out of somebody if you don't deal with the whole person. You just can't be half of a person. You just can't be a person that comes to work. You still got to have a person that's a husband, that's a wife, that's a father, that's a mother, a brother, a sister. You have to deal with the whole person. That was one of my things that I took to heart. Don't leave your problems at the door. Bring your problems in. Let's fix them. You go home, you take care of your problems, you come back. Now, guess what I got? I got a 100% collect. And that's how we was able to sustain the level of success that we had. It's just that simple. Build a relationship, respecting a person and caring about a person. It can take you a long way, but most people try to take it to a different level. It's just that simple. And they understood once you came into this office, you was here to work. I needed you here 100% of the time. And by me giving that little bit to them, that gave them that 100%, gave them a person that they trusted, and the person that they would go that extra mile for.
I have never seen an entire group of people so loyal to their boss. What y'all had was just, it was really cool because they were loyal to you. They could actually go out, hang out with you, come back to work, and you could write them up. You could discipline them, but they knew it was coming from a place of love and respect. Like, you're not just throwing your rank around. When you handle them, it's like, okay, y'all know what needs to be done. And I'm not going to keep telling you what needs to be done. You understand that. If you don't do it, I'm going to write you up. I'm still going to give you a fatherly hug. And I'm still going to care about your family. I'm still going to care about your problems, but you're going to get this right up. And we're going to go out and we're still going to be successful. And they handled those situations like champs. I mean, they may have been mad, but they still didn't lose that level of respect. They were still making those numbers. They were still getting what needs to be done. It was really a sight to see. It was really good. Just me in my career, it really helped me along the way to see that.
Mm-hmm. And you said something that's key. That's a fine line that you have to walk. You got to let them know that, hey, I'm going to take care of you, but you still have a job. You still have to perform. You still have to do what you have to do. If you're coming in late to work, we're going to deal with that because that's just part of a discipline that we had to have. So if you're not doing what you need to do, we're going to deal with it. Yeah, I'm going to let you take care of your family, but still, though, we got this side of the house that we have to deal with as well. I've laid that down, and I've always stuck to that. I've kind of never wavered from that because if you waver, then you can find yourself in an area that you can't come back from.
Yeah. Once you get past that gray area, and people start feeling like they can just, say anything to you or treat you in a kind of way, it affects the entire mission altogether. Now you're not making your numbers. And now you got to go and answer questions about why your station's not making those numbers. You never put yourself in that position. So That's amazing. Okay, so then you became first sergeant. And then you came back and you was the sergeant major, which is the highest rank that you can achieve. So look at you. But that was all because of how you showed yourself as a station commander. Like, they never had any problems. The one station they wasn't worried about was yours. Ever. Never. So how you carried yourself then really opened up doors for the rest of your career to kind of catapult. So how you became the first sergeant and the sergeant major, just the whole experience is both of those.
Yeah, we had a lot of success. I say we because It wasn't just me, it was the team. We always had the award ceremony. I always brought my whole team on the stage because it wasn't just about me. The team made me. What happened is as we were successful, it allowed me to get promoted. I got selected for E8, and then they selected me to go to Tampa and run the Tampa company. I was a little nervous because now I'm broadening my horizon. Now I'm going from managing 12 to 15 people to managing 50 to 60 people, both military and civilian. But one thing that kept me grounded is remember, relationship and respect. If you respect the next person, that person will respect you. So as a first sergeant, it was the same thing. I had this commander, she came in. I showed up at work. I had on my shorts, my flip-flop, and my tank top. I hadn't even put on my uniform yet. And so she was sitting in the car waiting on me. And just the look on her face was like, is this my first sergeant? And I didn't know who she was, so I walked past her. But then she finally came in and she introduced herself. And I was like, okay, let me put on my uniform and get dressed. And then we'll sit down and talk. So we sat down and we talked. And I could just tell from the look on her face, she was shocked, like, oh, we ain't gonna make it. And that was her first time coming out there as a commander in a recruit club. And I said, listen, just follow my lead, relax, you're going to be okay. We ended up being the best company in Tampa. But one thing I always taught her, when we go to a recruit station, first thing we do, we walk in the door, is talk to the recruiters, shake their hands, ask them how their families are doing, get to know them, build that relationship with them. And we did that, and that helped make us successful. To me, it's not hard. It's just being genuine, just being who you are. If you care about people, you respect people, then it will come back to you. And that's all I ever tried to do. I don't want you to respect me because of what I have, the rank I have on my chest, on my shoulder. I want you to respect me for the person that I am. Respect me for Fredrick.
It's funny that you mentioned the commander. The commanders, of course, they're officers. And sometimes people that may be in an officer position, you telling her, follow my lead. A lot of times officers may get some type of ego and may be like, no, I'm in charge. No, I'm the commander. You're the first sergeant. But the fact that she did follow your lead, it actually shows a lot for her as a leader to realize I have to trust him. I need him because he knows what he's doing. And so for her to not get in her ego, even as a woman, she may be like, do you think that I can't lead because I'm a woman? Do you think that you're better than me? So she did not take either of those approaches. So it really shows a lot for her and just leaders in general. The people that are working for you per se, they're the ones that know the job. They're the ones that get down and dirty and understand the process and understand how to make it succeed. So you have to trust them and you have to listen to them. So good on her for allowing you to just do what you do and then watch you work, watch you be successful. So that was first sergeant then?
That was the first sergeant in that type of company. But just to take that even further, I had got to the point where, mission nights can be long. We can be up 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning still trying to put people in the Army and get them home after we put them in the Army. So I said, well, you know what? She's a young commander and she got 2 young kids. So guess where that mom need to be? She need to be at home. She don't need to be out here this time of night. But not only her, I had other recruiters that had young kids too. So one thing I did is I challenged them. I said, listen, if you guys can step up and make mission for the company before mission day, which is always the end of the month, every mission day, we would go out and we would play softball and we would barbecue and we would have a team building function on mission day. We never had to work again till 12 midnight. Now, my bosses, of course, didn't like that, but that's fine. My people did what they needed to do, So, again, it's all about building that relationship and knowing and understanding people.
Now, why did your boss like that?
Because on mission day, if you're short on numbers, they expect everybody to kind of pitch in and get those extra numbers in. So I challenged my guys. I said, listen, if we got a mission of 50, you give me 60 to 65 people. That's above and beyond our mission. Now, I can't make the mission for the whole battalion, but I gave that extra push. But then, they was able to relax and enjoy that time, be at home with their families at a decent time, in a decent hour. It's just small things like that. That triggers people to work hard when you show that you care about them.
I wonder if all recruiting stations can take a nugget out of your book, because recruiting is hard work. But if you can figure out a way to lessen the stress of it or lessen how long you have to be there, Because a lot of recruiters, they'll be lazy in the first part of the month versus getting those numbers in early and kind of chilling the rest of the month. They're just lazy the first of the month. And then when crunch time, now they're stressed out. Now they're there all times of the night versus reversing that. If all recruiting stations could kind of learn that, they may not have to be away from their families so much. That's actually a really good nugget.
I'm the type of person, I like to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So if you give me a process and let me look at it for a week or two, I'm going to find out a way to make it easier on everybody. And to me, that's part of leadership. And a lot of times people say, well, we've always done it this way. Yeah, okay, that's fine too, but it might put more stress on you than what you need. So let's take a step back and let's look at streamlining it and doing it this way. And that's the type of approach that I've always taken in every position that I had. And it's always helped me. And it's always helped the people under me. I don't like to brag or try to toot my own horn, but, you know, for real, I mean, I just have to stop and be amazed sometimes at the number of people that still call and want to work for me or find out where I'm at or find out what I'm doing. I mean, when you step back and you look at that, you're like, wow. Did you really have that much impact on people? Because being a leader ain't easy. Half the people ain't going to like you. And the other half, they're going to half like you. So, you know, you just got to find a way to make them all kind of come together and all kind of work for you. Get the job done. But now with that said, I did my tour. I did my 3 years in Tampa with the recruiting company. I don't know if you remember, his name is Captain Bryant. He was the S1 in the battalion.
I think I remember him.
Yeah, he had made lieutenant colonel, and he reached out and he found me, and he wanted me to come back to Montgomery and be the battalion operations. So I major under his command as he commanded the battalion. So that's how I ended up back in Montgomery. But one nugget I left that commander, she still called me today. She called me if she has a question because she say, no matter where I go, what I do, you're always my first sergeant. I can have 50 million first sergeants, 50 million sergeant majors. You're always going to be the first sergeant because we built that relationship. We had a special bond. It was a bond of taking care of each other, taking care of each other's families.
You probably made her career easier for her going forward. Just giving her those nuggets as a young commander, she's still applying those things that she learned from you, making her a better person, a better commander, better leader herself. So yeah, hats off to you, Jay. Hats off to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. But, you know, I just never really sat down and thought about it. And when you asked me to come on your show, and talk about it, I just started thinking about it, saying, wow, I really had that impact on people's lives. But I guess when you're genuine and you really care, you're not really looking at things for yourself. You're just looking at the outcome thing for others.
You don't change. You're consistent. Like no matter what position you're in, you're going to be who you are. You don't waver. You don't change. I would much rather work with somebody that I know what I'm getting. I understand where we're going. I understand their way of thinking than someone that's all over the place. Like today, you're this way. Tomorrow, we don't know what we're going to get from you.
Right.
Like that in and of itself is respectable. So yeah, that's awesome. You became an ROTC instructor at one point, didn't you?
No. Once I retired from the military, I went to become a director of recruitment at a local college.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so tell me about that.
It kind of worked out in my favor because when I got ready to retire the military, there was a lot of things going on at the time. I was the acting battalion sergeant major at the time because our sergeant major, he had went through a tragedy in his family, so he was out. We had the tornado that had came through Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and ripped up a bunch of our recruit stations. So me and the commander, we had to spend time going out, collecting computers, making sure all the recruiters was okay. So instead of me out processing the Army, I was still in Army working, so I really didn't have time to take care of myself and prepare for my next journey. And I prayed and I asked God, I said, God, you know, this is a big step for me. The military is all I ever know. So I need you to step in and I need you to show me the way. And believe it or not, I applied for the job as the director of recruitment, and this was in June of 2011. They wanted somebody in the position immediately. But at the time, I didn't know when I applied that this other guy in the military that I had worked with, he was a director at another college. And he told the guy that was hired, he said, listen, this is a good guy. You need to hire this guy. I didn't leave the Army until September, and I applied for the job in June. I got interviewed. He held that job for 2 months until I was able to take terminal leave to come in and take that position.
Wow. So since you took it to a spiritual level, let me stay right there for a minute. God will bring your name up in rooms you don't even enter. Your name will be mentioned in those rooms because you didn't even know that God was there. But he saw
Right.
your name on paper and was just like, yeah, this is the one. All of this is orchestrated by God. It's all orchestrated where he had to be in the right place at the right time because you don't know how many other people may have applied, how many names was on that list. So everything is orchestrated. We worry so much about so many things when God really already have our plan laid out.
Yes.
We really just have to
Yes.
trust. And the fact
Yes.
that they held that job, they needed somebody in there immediately, but they knew that once they got you in there, you was going to do a good job. That's a lot of trust. And that they even had
Yes.
in him because they didn't know you, but he knew you.
Right.
So like your reputation do precede you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I
that's
hope it's a
amazing.
good reputation, So
Right, of
I
course.
try to make it a good one.
Yeah, of
So,
course. Nothing but.
but as I moved on to become the director of recruitment at the school, I faced two immediate challenges. The first challenge was they brought me in and said, well, we want you to fire this person. This person needs to be fired. That was the first thing. And the second thing is we had a high turnover rate of recruiters. It was like every other month they was turning over. You was hiring new people, constantly hiring, constantly hiring. I said, okay. So I took my time again, assessed the situation.
Did you fire the guy right away?
No. I told my boss this. I said, listen, I understand what you're saying. And I understand that you have been through this path with this person, but you got to give me a chance. I got to get to know the person. I got to build a relationship with the person because if you wanted this person gone, you should have fired her before I got here.
Yeah.
Now it's under me now. So I brought the young lady in and I said, listen, whatever you've done before today, it's a clean slate with me as far as I'm concerned. Today starts your new life. So for what you do this point forward is a reflection of how I'm going to see you. So if you want to carry your old way into this new day, then be careful. But you get a clean slate, you're a new person, you're getting another chance, and we're going to move forward. And to be honest, it worked out for about 5 months. But again, she slipped back to those old ways. So I did end up firing her.
Yeah, but you gave her a chance.
Right. I never forget when I called in office and told her we was letting her go, and she started crying, and she said, you know what? I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for me letting you down. Let's see, you losing your job, and you thanking me? She said, because you gave me a chance. I let you down by not holding the standards that you put in front of me. So those are some of the things I just like to say, respect everybody. Everybody has a voice, and you have to listen to people and reason with them. So, yeah. And then the other issue with the turnover, it was a big issue that nobody was getting along. You had the financial aid department, you had the recruiting department, you had the instructors. Nobody was getting along. Nobody liked each other. Nobody was talking to each other. And I'm like, well, how can we function as a successful organization if we're not communicating and talking with each other? When I had my training meetings, I used to invite them in. We used to have a joint training meeting. So they knew what we were doing. We knew what they were doing. Sometimes I let them instruct the training. Our side instructed the training, the instructors. So that way we all came together as a team and we all understood what each other had to do. And that kind of helped build a relationship between us. And the turnover really slowed down. When I hired my last set of people, I think I left before all of them left. That was just how, they ended up staying. And we kind of balanced that out because everybody started working together and people started enjoying coming to work.
That says a lot about you and your ability to bring people together because that's a gift. Everybody don't have that. Yeah. That could have been a mess on your hands. Yeah. Okay. I need to talk about Price is Right. Let's get to this Price is Right.
So what you want to know about the Price is Right?
How'd you end up on Price is Right? What'd you do with that car you won?
Okay, so that's a good question. People good questions. So the Price is Right. What happened is we was out in California on a family reunion. So my wife's side of the family, we was out there visiting. And one of the activities was to go to a Price is Right taping. So believe it or not, I didn't want to go to the taping because I was out hanging out with my brother-in-laws the night before, and they just wouldn't let me go to sleep. I wanted to sleep in the next day. And, my wife said, well, we came all the way out here. We're not going to do nothing. So I had to get up, put my clothes on, and we went down to the taping of the Price is Right. And just so happened we had enough people in our group to get selected for a seating at the show. It's actually a whole day process that they take you through. I actually taped this in July, but the show didn't air till October. So we went through the whole process and they checked background, make sure you hadn't been on the show within the last 10 years, hadn't won anything or nothing like that. So we went through all of that, and then we got to meet the producers. So the producer came out, set us up in a long line, these long tables. Then the producer went down, and he shook your hand. He talked to you for a brief 2 to 3 minutes because he had a lot of people to get to. Unknowingly, he was actually selecting the people that they was going to call to appear on the show. So we didn't know that. Nobody knew that. It was funny when we first came up there. My uncle, he had said, "Hey man, we gonna go in here. You gonna win a car today?" And they don't even want to be here. Talking about winning a car. We got in there for the taping. They actually called my name. They don't call your name. They hold up a sign because it's noisy in there. They hold up a sign with your name on it. And once you see that sign, you just come on down. And then they intertwine to come on down and all that stuff into it later on. So
Okay.
I came on down and I won some kitchen countertop appliances. That's how I got on stage to play for the car. And once I got on stage to play for the car, I played the high-low game with the dice. So I rolled the dice high-low, got the price of the car, and actually won the car. And and the chances of being on Price is Right, whether the car. So it happened.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny. What'd you do with this car?
I kept it for quite a while. And then I finally,
did?
last year, I traded in and got me a truck. So, yep. Yeah. Yeah, I had 3 cars and I couldn't get nothing from Home Depot. So I said, well, this is crazy. You know, work smarter, not harder. So,
Oh my gosh.
So I eventually traded in and got me a truck. They shipped the car to me from California.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So that was an experience. It was pretty nice. It was just a great experience, and it was just overwhelming. You know, I like, wow, when you look up
I
on
saw
it.
I was like, Jim, what you doing? This Price is Right. What is he
So,
doing?
Price is Right.
Well
I'm
rounded.
in Hollywood now.
Just well rounded. Well rounded.